weekend for the Gala performance. Toyota MR2 Championship is about to get underway. You can see a fantastic grid of MR2s ready for race 3. But let's have a quick word with Tim Herron. Now, Tim was running second on the final lap of race 2. Unfortunately, he got stuck behind a back marker, spun you out.
Well, I came across a spun back marker and had to lift to make the corner. But as I lifted, I got tagged and got spun round and ended up 5th.
It was quite a dramatic race all the way through. That was a shame to see you on the podium.
I know, well, it doesn't go to plan. Racing never does.
There's not this many cars on track anyway. But you're starting from 3rd on the grid. Where can you go from there?
Well, hopefully a much better start than last time, which put me down to 3rd in that race. But yeah, just having a lot of fun.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Cheers. So for the final time, I'll hand you up to the commentary box and Andy McEwen.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Here's how our final grid looks, with Benroe and Mick Nichols first and second in the last race. They're on the front row together again, ahead of Tim Herron and Graham Mailings. Then Josh Brooks, Paul Cook, Will Powell and Peter Higdon, whilst David Sheed and Matthew Smith round out the top 10. Once again, it is a full grid, 28 cars making up the grid, and this is groups A versus B. So all of these drivers have now got a race under their belt, but they haven't yet raced against each other in their respective groups, if you see what I mean. The red lights are on, the red lights go out, we're away and racing. Everyone cleanly away, good start made from pole position by Ben Rowe. Mick Nichols tries to drop down into the line, and he will do, just in front of Tim Herron, who we rode on board with. There's Will Powell, bit of paint traded with the yellow and grey car of Paul Cook, and we've got cars sideways. Oh, off into the gravel goes Tim Herron. Oh, Tim Herron, what a shame. He's had no luck today at Brands Hatch. Spun out of a strong position on the last lap in race 1, and the first lap of race 2 has not gone well. More contact there, that was David Sheed getting into the back of somebody towards Druids, but we're on board here with Hemingway as we drop down the hill in towards Graham Hill Bend. That's Aaron Bowman Smith, the black car in front of us, but Ben Rowe leads the way. Mick Nichols second, and into 3rd after all of that is Josh Brooks, despite getting very sideways at Paddock Hill Bend. Tim Herron, though, has it all to do again now, having dropped out from 3rd on the grid, and he now has to start the long, hard recovery back to the front of the field. Cars sliding around all over the place up at Clearways for the first time. That's really jumbled the order, I think, all of the shenanigans that went on up at Paddock Hill Bend. Back on board with Dave Hemingway, still chasing the black number 66 car of Aaron Bowman Smith as we streak across the start-finish line. 2 and 3 abreast still back in the midfield. I think this was the first lap of the race, wouldn't you? Back down through Paddock Hill Bend they go, and the battle on for 3rd here. Paul Cook right in behind Josh Brooks, and 2 of the Mark II machines going together here. The grey and pink car of Brooks, the yellow and grey is Paul Cook. With Tim Herron as his fight back begins in earnest now, and he will be still targeting a top 10 or 15, I'd imagine. And we've got a change for second out of nowhere. That was Josh Brooks on the inside of Mick Nichols, but they both run wide onto the grass, and that means that Nichols gets the run back on him and gets back ahead. Oh, contact between Cook and Josh Brooks, and Josh Brooks is off, and well, you sort of saw that coming. That was an awful lot of paint being traded throughout those previous 2 corners, and unfortunately it's Josh Brooks, who oh so briefly was into 2nd place, who ends up off the road. Tim Herron now will be picking up another place as a result of that, but they are 2 quick drivers now to watch for, trying to work their way back up the order. Drama at aplenty here at the start of this race. There is Will Powell, car number 30. We're on board with him now as he's inherited ground out of all of this too. But I think he might be in 4th place after all of the drama up ahead of him. The hill they go towards Druids again. It's the 71 machine next behind him of Graham Mailings. There is Graham in one of the Mark III cars. Businessman from Health and Safety Manager, excuse me, from Northampton. Back then with the number 30 car, and yes, indeed, 4th place then now belongs to Will Powell, 5th for Mailings. And then 6th place there is David Sheed, who started 9th, so that shows the sort of jumbling that's been going on through the top 10. Throughout the top 10, with the exclusion of the race leader, Ben Rowe, who has taken full advantage of all this to pull a little bit of a gap over the rest of the pack behind. Back out of Clearways and Clark Curve, back with Tim Herron, and well, we're going to see lots of this, I think, as he moves his way through the order. Plenty of slicing and dicing in front of him. I think that's Mike Nash in the orange and grey number 48 car that is his next target. And Mike being overtaken by one of the Mark 1 machines, which proves just how competitive those Mark 1 cars are still capable of being. They do lack a bit in straight line speed though, and so that's going to open the door not only for Mike Nash to come back at it, but also for Tim Herron to get past the pair of them. Back with David Sheed as he tries to close in on Graham Mailings, who in turn is challenging Will Powell as they drop their way down in towards Graham Hill Bend. The road is this battle for second between Mick Nichols and Paul Cook. Paul, who was in the thick of the action right the way through his earlier race, already sporting a bit of damaged trim to the front of his car. That's as a result of that contact that he had down at this corner with Josh Brooks. And there may well be some discussions post-race about that, but it didn't really look as though Paul Cook had anywhere he could go. He was on the inside legitimately trying to make the move stick, and the two just sort of met in the middle on the apex of the corner. And unfortunately for Brooks, his race has been really ruined, you'd have to say. But for Paul Cook, he still is on the podium, looking now to try and move through into second place if at all possible. Very sideways down through Paddock Hill Bend, but he's got Nichols defending here up towards Druids, weaving this way, and that is Paul Cook trying to find a gap on the inside. There is no way through there though. Back with Dave Hemingway now, as he makes his way into Druids. Car number 55, Dave Hemingway. He's running just towards the tail end of the top 10. Battles out over the curves. You can really see though, it looks like nothing from the outside of the car. When you start using the curbs excessively in the car, you can see how violent that is. But Hemingway, the lead Mark 1 car in this race, and he's got another one just there, not far behind, which is Adam Lockwood, who is chasing them down. Car number 11, separated by the 66 machine there of Aaron Bowman-Smith, who's actually made some good progress, but Aaron Lockwood, 36-year-old from Portsmouth, is up the inside, in fact, now, coming out of Clearways. And he won't quite have the straight line speed, unfortunately, to make that move stick on Aaron Bowman-Smith. But good to see Adam Lockwood dicing away here just towards the back end of the top 10. Man who lists his two hobbies as racing and looking after his 2-year-old son. Well, Paul Cook is looking the wrong way up at Druids. What has happened there to the man who was running third? One of those races, hasn't it, this one, where lots of the front runners have hit troubles, and Paul Cook now drops himself out of the top 10 as a result of a mystery spin up at Druids. Remember, the last we saw of him, he was dicing away with Mick Nichols for second. So all sorts going on. There's Peter Higton looking up the inside into Surtees, trying to get past Will Powell. Dave Hemingway now inherits another position as a result of one of the many Mark II front runners running into difficulties in this one. He's still got the buffer between himself and Adam Lockwood as far as the class lead, if you like, is concerned in Class A for all those older Mark I cars. There goes Higton. Peter Higton into Paddock Hill Bend again, chasing down Will Powell as Dave Hemingway is up the inside of Aaron Bowman-Smith, trying to defend the place. This is actually Bowman-Smith using that superior straight line speed to get alongside. Hemingway's all out of shape though. He'll lose a place to Bowman-Smith, and remember that Lockwood's around here somewhere as well. And yes, Adam Lockwood dives up the inside and takes the class lead away. So great opportunistic driving back from Lockwood. That all stemmed from the fact that Higton was having to defend from the quicker inner straight line car of Aaron Bowman-Smith. Back with Tim Heron, another one of our potential race winners to hit drama in the early stages, as he tries to pick his way through the order. He's doing a good job of it so far though, and there is every possibility still of a top 10 here, I'd say, for Tim Heron, but it won't be the sort of results he was hoping for this weekend. Towards Clearways he goes again. Another place gained, and maybe another one on the exit, possibly at the expense of David Mustard in the number 74 car, excuse me. Around the outside line he will go, and yeah, I think he's going to make that one stick. The Mark II cars are the quickest in a straight line, although actually David Mustard seems to have an issue there because he's lost a few more places, hasn't he? Paul Calloway there, the red car going through, and a couple of others too. One of the Rogue Motorsport cars also gaining ground, which I believe is Sam Harper. So David Mustard possibly running into some sort of mechanical issue here, because now to the outside of him will go another group of cars. Jonathan Grimes there, the 79 car trying to go through, and then Neil Stratton, who's in behind us. So Mustard driving on the grass won't help David lose his grip, and I think I saw Paul Cook's car there off to the side of the road. So Paul, after his spin up at Druids, has pulled into retirement, unfortunately. So this has really thrown the result of this race on its head now. With the exception of Ben Rowe and Mick Nichols at the front, the rest of the field is going to be very shuffled indeed. I believe Graham Malins has now inherited third. Meanwhile, we focus quite rightly on some of the very intense battling going on back through the field. Paul Calloway here still dicing away with several other drivers who are trying to break through into the top half of the grid. Sam Harper there in front of him. hill they go. Jonathan Grimes, of course, is the grey, blue and silver car behind, trying to make the move stick, but novice crosses on the back of several cars in this region of the field. Relative rookies to racing, getting maybe their first taste ever of motor racing. Talk about throwing yourself into the deep end into a field of 28 snarling Toyota MR2s. That was a very wide moment there coming out of Graham Hill Bend. That's David Mustard again, who is getting all agricultural. Neil Stratton, who takes advantage of the inside line in towards Surtees. Got a brief look at Gareth Baxter there as well in his Mark 1 number 99 car. With Stratton and Mustard's gone back through again, so every time you gain a place in this race, it seems that you end up then losing them straight away. Right, back inside the top 10 now, and that is, I believe, David Sheed trying to defend the place here from Will Powell. He's closing in on the run down towards Graham Hill Bend, but there's no way through there. What about the exit speed? Powell all out of shape, and in fairness, everyone's getting armfuls of opposite lock. Casually adjusts the rear view mirror as he dives down in towards Surtees. Peter Higton is still the car behind him. Back with Dave Hemingway now, who is fighting away with Adam Lockwood. And still, Aaron Bowman-Smith is staying in front of this group as a result possibly of having that superior straight line speed. But you can see the queue of cars starting to form behind him. Adam Lockwood may just have a peek to the inside in towards clear edge, and that will help. Bowman-Smith running out wide. That will hurt Bowman-Smith's exit speed. Watch how the black Mark II car on the outside line should just be able to stretch its legs in a straight line and draw back ahead. Yeah, makes it look easy despite not getting a good exit from the corner. That's just the difference in the age of the cars, really. Tim Herron's also a part of this group now. He should be able to make light work of them. Fairly comfortably out-qualified them and outraced them indeed in their early race earlier on, but they're side by side for the class lead in front of him between Hemingway and Lockwood. Hemingway's back up the inside, and that forces Tim Herron out onto the dirty line through Druids. And where do you go? You've got a roadblock, two MR2s side by side in front of you disputing a class lead, and there's nowhere that Herron can go. Lockwood goes back ahead of Hemingway there through Graham Hill Bend, but Dave's going to try and fight back down the Cooper Straight. He's got Tim Herron trying to draw alongside as well, though. Tim Herron's on the grass, keeps his foot in it though. Brilliant stuff that from Tim Herron, and he will split the two Class A cars now. So for the time being, that Class lead battle is put on hold. Tim Herron there, not afraid to take to the green stuff to try and make moves stick. It's not always a perfectly legal way of making the move stick, but if he gets away with it, fair play to him, because he's clearly quicker than these cars, as you would expect, and he now is able to get past Adam Lockwood as he dashes across the start-finish line. Maybe just played into the hands of Lockwood, actually. He's been able to just pull a bit of a lead over Dave Hemingway, who appears to be shedding bits of MR2. There was a bit of bodywork that went flying off into the gravel trap there. Oh yes, look at that, the trim down the left-hand side of the car hanging loose, and a bit of rear bumper, I think it was, that we saw skating off into the gravel trap. Back with this battle involving Will Powell a little bit further up the road. We're into the closing stages of this race now, though. Only a minute or so to go in this 13-minute plus one lap encounter. It's been a trio of sensational Gala Performance Toyota MR2 Championship races here at Brands Hatch, and we expect similar action throughout the rest of the season. This man has avoided most of the drama in this particular race. Won his first race by 3 seconds, helped because of some of the dramas going on behind him. This time around it's going to be well over 5, I think, the winning margin. Moving back to Tim Herron now. Can he get past Aaron Bowman-Smith? Yes, he can, with a textbook late lunge up the inside into Paddock Hill Bend. And he is continuing now to work his way up the order. I think that's a lap car that he's getting past. It looks as though 8th place is going to be his finishing position. About to come through though onto what I believe will be his final lap is Ben Rowe, and Ben Rowe has pulled out this very comfortable margin now. It's well over a 5-second margin over Mick Nichols in second and Graham Malings in third. Really all of the battling in this one, unlike really the first two races, has been for positions outside the podium. Back through paddock goes Ben Rowe, and he doesn't need to push. You can see he's barely using the curb at all there out of Paddock Hill Bend. Headlights ablaze to warn potential back markers of his imminent arrival, but there are no real back markers around him either. It's been a very lonely race for Ben, but I don't think he's going to be complaining too much. Down into Graham Hill Bend he goes, and in a weekend of attrition in some ways, Ben Rowe is going to extend a fairly nice championship lead leaving Brands Hatch with a double race victory. And of course Chris Thomas was our other race victor. Back in the first race, he was then 4th in race 2, so really, Ben Rowe has had more or less the perfect start to his weekend. Back with Mick Nichols here, who is actually having to defend his 2nd position here quite hard from Graham Mailings. Graham Mailings has caught right up to the 2nd place man. Of course, this is also for a class lead within Class C for the Mark III cars, and this could yet change hands. Let's see then. Graham Mailings closing right in. I said that all of the battling was outside the podium positions. That's not quite true, because there's well under half a second between them now as they go on to what I believe now should be the final lap. I realise I said that last time around, but we just squeeze another one in. Ben Rowe back down into Graham Hill Bend, and the checkered flag's going to be perfectly timed for him if it does come out this time, because he's got some traffic up the road. Here for 2nd place though, Mailings is not far behind as he makes his way down the Cooper Straight. There's one more chance to try and overtake on this lap, and that's going to be up towards this corner, Clearways, which Ben Rowe is now negotiating. He will be blissfully unaware of the dramas that have befallen his fellow rivals further back, because he has performed immaculately in this race, and this time around the hands out of the cockpit. That's because he does see the checkered flag, and he is victorious in race number 3 of the weekend for the Gala Performance Toyota MR2 Championship by 5.7 seconds in the end over Mick Nichols, who hangs on for 2nd, and Graham Mailings, who is 3rd. Well, a dominant performance there from Ben Rowe. There's confirmation of your result. Off the podium were David Sheed and Peter Higton, 4th and 5th, ahead of Matthew Smith, Will Powell. Tim Heron recovered to 8th, not a bad job for him. Pete Seeley and Adam Lockwood rounding out the top 10. Lockwood wins in the Mark 1s ahead of Hemingway, and Jonathan Grimes. David Mustard was 13th, Gareth Baxter 14th, and Aaron Bowman-Smith dropped well back to 15th there in the last few laps. Not sure what happened to him. We lost Paul Calloway, Paul Cook, who we mentioned, Josh Brooks, and unfortunately Sean Trainer was a non-starter.
Absolutely mental. I mean, I haven't had a weekend like it, I have to admit. This is the best day I've had. I don't particularly like brands either, so at least if I'm going to come here, I'm going to do well. So that's I'm pretty stoked.
Mick, successful first weekend out.
Yeah, very happy, very happy. 2 Class C wins, so can't complain.
Oh, Graham, pretty lonely race for you, but you've got to be happy with the podium.
Yeah, I'm over the moon. I kept falling off in front of me, but just making some really bad starts and dropping back to about 6th or 7th place, and then to pick the place up afterwards. So it's a new car. I'm over the moon with it. Really pleased.
Well, unfortunately, that brings an end to the racing here at Brands Hatch. What a fantastic weekend it's been with the 750 Motor Club. If you want to see some more action, please tune in next time.